Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and we have a very rare build because I have got my hands dirty for a change. I've had the Phanteks X2 in for a little while. I did a review on it a while ago. Phanteks never send me anything, so I bought one of the cases. But because I could see that there were things that I wanted to just do and play around with it. Now, as you've probably seen, it doesn't normally come in red. The white ones, all of that red metalwork would have been silver. I got some vinyl and I've taken all the metal off. I've wrapped it. Very simple, just time consuming because there are a million screws and it does take a few hours to get there and strip it down and then mess around with it. So it's an afternoon's work. It's like a Saturday afternoon where you can mod your case. It's brilliant. But the whole thing kind of come together quite nicely because TRYX got hold of me about their new Waterblock. It's the Panorama WB Waterblock, and it follows the same ethos as their AIOs that I've reviewed recently, but in a standalone Waterblock. Now, the only thing that I've done personally is I haven't used the fan in the top. I just haven't connected it. I don't feel the need for active VRM cooling. They never get hot enough, and I stress them and like work my systems hard. If you're in a very hot country and you've not got air conditioning, maybe it'll be something for you. But if you're like me and you don't feel the need, you just don't have to connect the fan header, and it doesn't spin and it makes no difference. So all I've done is tucked my cable up inside the water block itself, and that's the only bit about it that I've not used or not done. Now, the block itself, the screen is still removable so that you can access the fan and to aid installation. It is a 2K screen and it's 6.5 inch and it does wrap around. Now, with the wraparound, their software is actually really good. We've done some stuff with some other companies recently where they've had screens and the software has just been awful. TRYX do give you lots of videos that you can put on, static images, and it's all in there for you as well. You can also display temperatures like I have, which you can have your GPU temperatures, VRM temperatures, CPU temperatures, and you can move them around on the screen as well, which is really quite nice. I've had mine stashed down the side. Now, the video that I've got displaying on mine is a lovely little VW camper. I'm a car guy, and it was a winner of one of their competitions, and this is something else I really like that TRYX do, is they do involve the community. So there are lots of options in the software that you can go and have a look at where they are end users that have designed it. So I really like that edge with it. Now, this system has actually been built a couple of times because I built it once complete, it was ready, it was leak tested, and I had a Z890 Wi-Fi MSI motherboard, and then they sneakily sent me a Tomahawk Project Zero. And I didn't realise at the time that the new Project Zeros were all white. So when I got out the box to review it, I was expecting a black board and then a white one appeared. So I was like, oh, because I already thought in my mind of minds, I wanted to upgrade this to Project Zero with back-facing connectors so that I could tidy up the front of the case. Because the whole reason why I've gone about the water cooling in this way was to make everything tidy. So board came, right, stripped it all back down again, started again from scratch, put Project Zero in. So the connector, where the cables are all around the back, I've actually gone with a Corsair Shift power supply because it shifts the connectors round to the side. Now, I will say with the Corsair Shift stuff, I actually think their connectors are a little bit long because where your connectors are all round the back, but they don't know that, so it's not their fault. I don't want to stress that. I've annoyed them enough recently. But what I want to do long term is I want to put some much shorter cables around the back to really tidy things up. So if you are going back connect, I really do think that the Shift power supplies from Corsair and Lan Li now have ones that move around as well. They're the power supplies for you to get, but invest in some really short cables, which is what I will be doing when I get a chance. Now, because of the fact that there is glass on three sides of this case, so you've obviously got a view from the back of the case through, I didn't want cables and hoses and stuff hanging out all over the place. I didn't want a busy looking rig. So I've purposely designed my water cooling to be very, very compact. Now, the only hose that isn't necessary is I have a third line, which is a fill port, and that goes up around the back, and on the back of the Phanteks case there's a plastic cover that you can pull off, and that's where my fill port is hidden. But effectively I've gone for super short hosing. Yes, I have used flexible just to make my life easy for this one, and the fact that my bends were incredibly tight. Now, I'm no pro hardliner, so I went with flexible. I've just bought some white hose. I just smashed it in there. Now the reservoir and the pump is all combined, and that actually fit in a 120mm mount, so that was perfect for me. It's from Alphacool. Now that was because I've got 3 reverse bladed fans in the bottom, drawing in, and then I have, because I've used that switch power supply, it keeps my air cooling in the bottom easy for the air to come in, and then just normal bladed fans in the roof. So I've got a chimney effect, and really the rear fan wouldn't have been doing anything for me, so putting that pump in there was perfect. It allowed me to keep all those runs really nice and tight, and keep the front of the case completely clear. So there are no hoses there, no reservoirs, no wires hanging out everywhere. It was lovely. Now I have got a one of the TRYX PCI Express 5 riser cables. Now I will say I think they need to do one that's about 10 or 15 centimetres shorter, because it was a bit long for my layout here. I think it's 30 centimetres, and it was just that bit too long, at least 10 centimetres too long. It's sort of hard curved, and it was unnecessary. It's kind of one for a build if you've got it much further away from the case. So that's a constructive criticism for TRYX. I want a shorter one, and I think most people at home could get away with a shorter one as well. It's just unneeded. But it did mean PCI Express 5 RTX 5080 from Zotac. It was another thing that Zotac sent me recently, was a surprise white graphics card, and it was the perfect time to pop it in this. Other than that, I don't think you really need to know about any of the other bits. We need to talk about performance. Now, if I was running OCCT with AVX 512 and absolutely punishing the 9950X, my water-cooled temperatures were still below 80 degrees. Now you might think that sounds like a lot, but we've got a small pump, we've only got that block, it's a thin 360mm radiator in the roof, but my fans didn't go above 1500 RPM. For gaming kind of results, we were looking well below 60, like I didn't see 60 degrees in any intensive gaming at all, and because of the way that my fans are mounted, I didn't see more than about 66, 68 on my graphics card either, again with fan speeds below 1500 RPM. So it is a very quiet system. That's the way I like my rigs, and now I've got all the air out of the loop. The pump is very quiet as well, and that's even with it. It's on maximum. I have got the ability to tame the pump down a little bit, but I've just not needed to do it. So I've built it to be cool, I've built it to be very calm, and I've built it to be very, very tidy. Now, the thing with the Phanteks is it's only £130. And I really like the fact that with a few screws and some time spent and £20 spent on vinyl, no worrying about paint or anything like that, you can wrap it and completely customize it to however you want it at home. You take your accent color, you make it your own. I like red, I've done red. I think it looks the part. I would love to have this on my desk. As it stands, it's probably going to be getting attached to my racing rig, because that's where it's going to be heading, and it's going to be heading out to the Shedio and getting used out there. Don't forget, you can go and have a look at the OC3D website. You can click through and look at all the links over there. If you want to buy any of this stuff, it's completely up to you. I will put some of them underneath for you as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. I would love to know your feedback. I actually think that the way I've done the water cooling might be a topic of conversation, both good and bad, but that's fine, because active and positive debate, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like it, then just say so. But at the end of the day, you might do your rig differently. I'm still going to like your rig because you've done it and you've taken the time. And I think that's the way we need to be with everyone's. It might not be for everyone, but it's certainly for me, and I've done it without breaking the bank as well. Sure, we've got expensive graphics cards and expensive CPUs, but after the CPU block, the actual water cooling side of it really wasn't that expensive. For the hose, the reservoir pump and the radiator, it was just over £200. Now, there are AIO blocks out there that cost considerably more than that. So once you add in the price of the Panorama water block, it can actually end up matching an AIO or beating it, depending on whether you end up investing in a crazy expensive £400 ROG one with a screen. And I actually think with this, I think a ROG one would have struggled to have matched these temperatures with the fan speeds that low. Normally, to have really aggressive temps like we have and like kept them in check, it would have meant really high fan speeds, and we've managed to do it without. So cool, calm, collected. I think it looks the gonads, the dog's nuts, however you want to put it. But as I've said, please leave your feedback in the comments underneath. I will be keeping an eye on them. But thank you very much for tuning in. This is TTL out. Ding!